like I am not a celebrity right now. It's not like, oh, hey, I have a YouTube channel and instantly have a whole bunch of subscribers. I
Well, it
said,
takes time and it takes putting out content. But what I like about this plan is YouTube is the second biggest search engine after Google. I'm
yeah,
on YouTube all the time. I listen to almost all my podcasts on YouTube or sometimes on Spotify, but usually on YouTube because I occasionally like to look at the people. And it's just really a matter of continuing to put out content. And we're building all this content,
no,
which
but
you haven't posted most of it at all yet
right.
because we have a post, launch plan. But the second biggest search engine is YouTube. And then the third is actually Amazon. So when your book is launched, I know you've got a book up there already, but that is another way for people to find you organically without you, paying per click on Google or for Facebook.
Absolutely, but it's also this whole process is learning, right?
Yeah.
And there was, I believe I believe that it was Zig Ziglar who was a awesome motivational speaker. I had the pleasure to meet him many years ago.
Really?
I did.
Oh, he's a
Um,
legend.
huh? Oh,
He's a
absolutely.
legend. Yeah.
And it may not be him, so if I'm misquoting, but I believe it was Zig Ziglar said it was a 7-year overnight success. And I think that's, look, I certainly hope this doesn't take 7 years. However, the point is, it takes time, it takes consistency, it takes, you build your audience and you put your product out there, and that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm excited about, is creating the content, right? I guess I just know in my heart that if I'm just consistent in putting up the content, to quote from Field of Dreams, if I build it, they will come. If I
Yeah.
create it, they will listen.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about doing it this way is you're leaning into you're discovering your voice, your authentic voice, and you're leaning into that more and more. And the 7-year overnight success, I mean, you've been working on becoming a more powerful speaker and a more skilled coach or mentor or consultant or mental health professional, for a long time, for more than 7 years.
Yes.
And you're, when you stand at the front of the room holding the mic, you're confident. Everybody in the room feels better and uplifted, and you command attention with ease and joy and grace. And it's fun. Like, you add so much fun to a room. That's very difficult for most people. I know it comes naturally to you. And you've also had a lot of time to build that skill. I mean, literally, you've laid down the mile and built that capacity, and your confidence is based upon real life feedback that works. People like listening to you.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And I know one of the things, Aurora, that you're excited about being on this journey is, for at least a decade, you've seen, you're like, oh my God, superstar, like go grab
I'm
it.
shaking you almost. Yeah.
And I appreciate your consistent encouragement, right? And it's not that I haven't seen it or believed it, but it's just sort of, again, sometimes it's not yet. It's right now, not yet. It's just not the time to go do that.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, because I know you so well. The only reason why this is not a good time for you to launch your speaking career is the world pandemic and the coronavirus, but everything else was actually lined up.
It was.
You were ready.
And to use the pandemic as an excuse not to do what I'm so ready to do, I'm who cares? I'm still doing it.
Well, it may be in some paradoxical way, we'll see a good time because people are eager for encouragement. You're very encouraging. They all could use the God of enthusiasm, that's for sure. You know, your energy is in the sound wave of these files and will be in your book. And people are reading more and listening to more audiobooks and listening to more podcasts because they want distraction or information or inspiration, and you provide all of those things. So it could surprisingly be a really good time for that part. You're speaking, I have to be on Zoom for a little while. Although I do see that some TV shows are launching up again. You know, Joe Rogan's been testing people, and various other hosts are having live guests. They just, you know, they could test.
Definitely. And
But,
then,
yeah.
but one more thing that I wanted to share about my not yet.
Yes.
The last thing I came up with is that my work helps 1 million plus people.
Ah, beautiful.
And for me, that's, I'm so dedicated to helping people to really embrace the choices that they have in their life, and for them to embrace their own epic journey, and for them to take that one step forward to start to go on that journey. And because it is so powerful to know that, sort of say, I'm doing something epic for me.
Yeah.
And all, and the one thing I want the audience to understand is epic can be really big, but epic could be something as simple as feeling more confident when you have to stand in front of an audience, or in speaking up at work, and you've always sort of been timid in it, and it makes you scared, but you have a lot to say and you want to share more. That could be your epic journey. Your epic journey could be, I have a family, let's say there's a family history of maybe not so healthy eating and high blood pressure and diabetes, and you look and say, I don't want that for myself. So your epic journey could be, I'm choosing to go on this epic change that my family won't understand, but I'm doing it for me.
I have to share, since you scolded me on a previous podcast episode.
Oh, the
I
ice
have
cream?
not had any ice cream or frozen yogurt in the house, which is epic. So
It is epic.
Toasted, but you're so right. Not having the temptation there is really good.
You can't eat what's not there.
I know. So I've been following your wisdom on that.
And I'm sorry if I scolded too much, but it is true. And again, my point is, what all of our epic journeys are different. Mine is this big, bold thing because that's what I want. I perhaps have a sickness that 90%, 99% of the world doesn't have, which is I want a microphone and talk in front of people as often as possible.
Yeah,
and you're right.
There's a little magnetic spot in your hand that the mic belongs.
Exactly. And I like the fact that instead of fighting that Aurora when I come to the events, I just have my own mic, because
I know. It's just like, that's Anders' mic. All right. So these are really great tips. I think this is like just the lightest feeling one that we've done, like this whole not yet. I'm going to have that going in my heart and mind for the rest of the day. I'd love people to make that list that you suggested of the things that they have not done yet. You know, your not yet list, which is so much more fun than a to-do list. What other tips do you have for people to really lean into this concept of not yet?
Okay, well, you actually took the first one, which is make a list of not yet, of your not yets. Really good.
I just repeated what you said earlier.
I know. No, well, I made a list for myself, and then I'm like, well, what's my tip? Well, make a list. Duh. Good enough for me. It's really good enough for you. Create a choose one or two things and create a plan for your not yet. Like, because it's great to say, I really want to go get my pilot's license, or I want to be a best-selling author. But if I don't have a plan to write a book, I can't be a best-selling author, right?
Kind of necessary to have the book.
Kind of necessary, right? Kind of necessary to take flight lessons to get your license, right?
Yeah.
So make a plan. That you don't have to have a plan for every single thing. There are things that you just say, I want to do this.
Yeah.
Great.
Right.
And
And you
then,
can have it on your not yet list without it being like actively sitting there.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And there are certainly the things that perhaps you want to have children or whatever, but you realize that that's not something that's you're going to do right this second, right?
Mhm.
So it's fine. It's on there. You know it's there. And here's the great thing. When we write, when we say it out loud, when we proclaim to the universe the things that we want in our life, it's funny how stuff actually comes to us.
It's so funny. It is really, it's
Imagine that.
amazing. I've noticed that with my 100K in 100 days challenge to myself.
Right.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want to say is, in the face of adversity, remember not yet, because it can be your lifesaver, your life preserver,
Yeah.
right? Certainly, we're in a time where there's not lots of sunshine and joy. In fact, right now there's, well, it's a little lighter, but it's been dark as dusk and smoky and ashy, and there's fires everywhere here in California and any number of things. But just keep in mind that, you know, it's not everything is sunshine and rainbows, but when it isn't as good, not yet is such a buoy, a life ring, a life preserver to go, not yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even your shoulders went down when you said it. I could just imagine everybody doing that. Okay, those were some really wonderful tips. I'm going to make my not yet list. That is really cool. Am I cutting you off, or have you completed your tips?
No, I have no more words on my paper.
Well,
Not to say I don't have more words.
There better be a couple more words, because in a minute we're going to come back and find out what next week's podcast is going to be about. And before we hear that from Xander, because we're not going to hear that yet.
No, not yet.
Please go to xanderspragg.com. Go visit his YouTube channel as well. And when you visit xanderspragg.com, you're going to get some amazing free gifts, including a PDF that you can download and print, put it on your fridge, put it on your mirror, put it in your car, put it in your notebook, that will remind you of the fact that EPIC begins with one step forward. This is so encouraging. So you're going to want to take advantage of that and some other goodies at xanderspragg.com. And you can also get your Thought Leader Starter Library absolutely for free at my website, which is thoughtleaderlaunch.com. As you can see, I love launching thought leaders like Xander. So go to thoughtleaderlaunch.com and take advantage of those absolutely free goodies. The other benefit will be that as Xander's book is launched and he has a live cast coming up for his book, or this, that, and the other thing, we'll make sure that you get the best deals and that you get the advance notice of these things that are coming up fairly soon. So Xander, what are we going to be talking about in the next podcast?
In the next episode, I believe that what I would love for us to talk about, and I think you're going to like this one,
okay,
embrace how you work, lean into your strength.
I love this one. Embrace how you work and lean into your strengths. Absolutely. I mean, doing this with you is such a joy, and it was part of my, okay, Aurora, 100K in 100 days. Well, what are you good at? What do you like to do?
Exactly. And for me, absolutely. How do I work? I talk. The books that I've written, I did by dictating.
Yeah.
And then I had something to work with, and then, I go in and do, editing and stuff like that. But when I first started to try and write, when I tried to write my first book, I sat down and it was so hard. I was staring at blank pages or a half a page, and I was like, God, this sucks. And then I just had this epiphany. Well, you don't have to do it that way.
Yeah.
Go in, I got a tape recorder, I dictated what I wanted to say, I had someone transcribe it, then I had something to work with. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to our taking time, and we can both share, leaning into how we work. And,
Yeah, I love that.
And
Writing, especially for you. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You said we could both lean into.
And also trying to, if you don't know what your strengths are, like figure out where your strength lies. Because I can tell you that doing this, although it's work, it just doesn't feel like work. The episodes I'm doing with other people that will be on my YouTube channel are not work. I don't look at it and go, oh my gosh, I have to go do. No, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's great. I get to.
Yeah, you get to instead of you have to. One more question. I'm curious, how are you finding this process, the spoken author process that we're doing together, the same or different from just recording into your tape recorder yourself? What difference does it make to you that I'm here with you, asking you questions and engaging?
So much. I mean, first of all, I think so much richer because when you're just dictating, it's just asynchronous. It's me talking, then I get it back, and then I'm like, wow. I don't know. This is so much better because I think there's a lot deeper content because we're interacting. And then what I end up with is stuff that as I'm looking at it after I've put it through the script and I have the transcript, so many more launching points because we've had a conversation and stuff I wouldn't have necessarily thought about if I were just dictating myself. But because we're having this conversation, I'm like, oh, wow, I can expand on that, or I hadn't thought of that. And I don't know, the best part is I start each episode with you. We have a subject, but we have no idea where we're going.
I feel like it's like, when I write or dictate and I'm just writing myself, I feel like I'm on a highway. But when I'm speaking with you, it's like it's 3D. It like a fireworks, like it explodes in all these different interesting directions and different colors. Does that seem about right to you, or would you have a different metaphor?
No, absolutely. No, you're right. It is like going down a highway. It's very mile markers and page, another page and another, whereas here you're right. It's 3D. It's all the axes and it's fun because you're like, not quite. I know where we're starting, but who knows what the destination and what each episode is. And for the audience who's listening, you're like, oh my God, these are so long. Yeah, they're long because you want to know what? We're having a lot of fun. And
yeah, it's fun. It's interesting. It's richer. Well, that was a great episode. Not
oh my God,
yet. So again, don't forget to visit sanderspragg.com. If you're listening to this on audio, check out his YouTube channel so you can see his beautiful smiling face and actually see the God of enthusiasm in person. So right. To wrap this up, I'm Aurora Winter. My website is Thought Leader Launch, and you are?
I'm Xander Spragg. My website is xanderspragg.com, and my YouTube channel is choice champion. So go find me.
Woohoo! All right. Talk to you next week.
Talk to you later.